horrors of hell, the rot of flesh, the suffering of souls, and wicked good gameplay, brother. This is Labyrinth of the Demon King. Dude, it is Silent Hill 1 meets Siren meets Shadow Tower, and it is one of the raddest horror games I've ever freaking played. It does everything that made me fall in love with these types of games to begin with. You know, like every enemy is intimidating, the gameplay's tough as nails, it's got that heavy combat, your resources are limited, you're even checking the map every 2 seconds. Where am I? Where am I going? You can barely see 2 feet in front of you sometimes, and you know at any second, something could just come out of the pure darkness, coming right for you, and you gotta either run or deal with them. And to top it all off, the cherry on top, the doors are locked. Yo, and shit's rusty. Ah! All the horror homies that I follow online were all talking about it back when this thing first came out in May. And I was like, it's only a $20 indie game. It's on everything. I'll scoop it up, sure, I'll give it a chance. And oh my god, I was blown away by it, dude. Like, genuinely, deeply impressed by this thing. Not just at its ability to be, like, actually pretty scary to me, but also the gameplay, man. It's like everything I want from survival horror games. This was made by a New Zealand indie dev after he was inspired by his trip to Kitagi Island in Japan. I was reading this article about it, and he's like walking around the island and just thinking, oh man, this would be an awesome setting for a horror game. He was also inspired by the settings of Fatal Frame 2 and Onimusha, as well as horror games from around that time in general, like Silent Hill. And he was also inspired by select FromSoft games, namely Kingsfield and Shadow Tower. The whole thing takes place in this big cursed castle in feudal Japan. I'm not gonna act like I remember all the lore and stuff, but basically there's a demon and you gotta take him out, so you're on this pilgrimage into the pits of hell. Which in this game it's basically like a Silent Hill Otherworld version of a Fatal Frame level. Along the way you get to read up on all of these absolutely horrible things. I love the scrolls you find, each one describing one of the 8 different great hells. Let's just read one of them real quick to give you a sense of the world here. The Hell of Crushing Assembly. So the first line is just the people that end up in the hell, and then they describe what happens to these people. So sometimes the sinner is tied to a large rock, while another large rock is placed above them. The rock is slowly lowered, crushing the sinner. Unable to die, they feel everything. Other times, the sinner will find themselves in a forest of trees where the branches are sword blades. They look to the top of the trees to see the one they love. They climb the tree, slicing and mangling their flesh. When they reach the top, their lover will not be there, but upon the ground. They climb back down, and this repeats over and over, presumably forever. So, you know, it's like eternal suffering, damnation, you know, the worst thing that could ever happen, the worst pain that you can ever imagine. Just a lot of kind of fun concepts like that. Now, first off, I gotta go on about the visuals and sounds here. It kinda combines the textures and polygon count of PS1 horror with the resolution, colors, and graininess you always got from PS2 horror. I love how intense the film grain is. Man, they go kinda overboard with it, but I kinda really love it. Sorry if the YouTube compression hates all this footage because of it. If you don't like it yourself, you can turn it off. Same goes for the square aspect ratio. You can flick at the widescreen if you want, though they do warn that may cause glitches and also isn't the intended experience. For me, I left it all the way it was. I freaking love the way this looks. You do gotta love those freaky, creaky areas though. All the grimy wooden planks, the filthy rags draped everywhere. This had my brain zipping right to the Fatal Frame and Siren games. And not just the setting or location, I mean. I'm also talking that specific flavor of filth. Because it's not Silent Hill abandoned building filth. No, like it's like rotting wood and disease type filth, closer to nature sort of thing. Rural, the stuff of curses and demons, you know what I'm saying? And the music, oh, I swear it was made by a demon. It can be horrifically chaotic, smashing and clanging and screaming into the void. Or it can be guttural and droning. Sometimes it kind of sounds like the Numbers world from Yume Nikki. These tracks are genuinely scary, man, and the atmosphere they bring to every decrepit hallway, it's pretty incredible. It reminds me a lot of Silent Hill 1 and Siren 1 soundtracks. Like, they really captures a lot of the cool stuff they were doing, juggling the harsh noise with the sparse, moody instruments. The sound design is so damn good. Even just your footsteps, the way your character, like, shuffles to a stop. Sometimes I think I hear one extra step and I think there's an enemy nearby, and it's nothing. That's literally some Oya Shiro-sama bullshit. Listen to me walking around the prison area. I can't see very far past the bars. All of the doors are locked, so I can't even check if there's anything really in there. For the most part, they sound empty, but every now and then, you hear something. Sometimes it is just flavor audio. But other times, no, that's a skeleton coming for you, and you gotta knock him back to bones. Oh, a good time as ever to get into the combat, you know, the gameplay. What do you do with the buttons and the moves? Let's just do a demonstration in the training room real quick. It is a pretty difficult game, so they let you get the hang of all the stuff you can do risk-free before they send you off to hell. Alright, check it out. So you have R2, that's your main swing of course, and you can also hold it down to charge it up, wait for the right time, and let go to smash. I love the feeling of this move. It's so heavy and slow, so you really have to anticipate your bad guy. Some weapons are faster than others, like maybe you fancy yourself a katana, you know, you like being all swift, but I like the big heavy tanky ones. Either way, attacking with your weapon will not be as quick as a little kick. R1 does a kick. This is faster, will knock the enemy off balance, so it's really good for getting through defenses, but also for giving yourself a moment to get away after staggering them. L2 is your parry button. I don't really use this a whole lot, kind of like how I never parry in like Dark Souls. It is a lot easier to use than a typical FromSoft parry though. It'll pop your weapon up for a couple of seconds, the window's pretty wide, so it's not hard to time, and yeah, you'll deflect it, keep your stamina, and get a chance to hit him back. Or maybe you'll use the downtime to get some distance between you and them. Maybe even use that brief opportunity to get away entirely. L1 is for your talismans. These are basically little expendable spells that you find all over the place. Some will heal you, but they're mostly for dealing with enemies. Maybe knocking them back, or doing some damage with a blast, or even straight up banishing them away from the area entirely. This one's super useful for the enemies you can't exactly deal with. Circle button is for dodging. Now the first dodge is free. You get a 4-second cooldown. Any dodges before the cooldown's up will take chunks out of your stamina, which you really don't want to do. You cannot spam that dodge. You do it twice in a row and you're just gonna mess up and get your butt kicked. It's all about figuring out when to work in that one careful dodge every now and then. I really love the way they handle this. As you guessed, stamina is very important when it comes to combat. If you run out, your attack will be slow and suck, your kick sucks. If you're not careful and you're not juggling your moves smart, you're gonna run out of stamina and screw yourself. Sprinting, by clicking in the left stick, does not use stamina. You won't recover stamina while sprinting, but you also don't lose any, so you can just try to run away in the middle of a fight when you run out. And when you're trying to get away, you also have incentive to not just keep running because it won't come back. You gotta like throttle it, strategically going back into a walk periodically just to get enough back to either fight back again or kick to stun them and get away. There's so much strategy to every tense little moment. You don't even really need to use all of these moves to get by effectively. It just gives you like a really wide variety of ways to do stuff. So it's really easy to find your own playstyle in it even. Some people are probably gonna be all about parrying and dodging and staying up close and being aggressive. You can do that if you're good enough at it. But my go-to strategy was running away, charging up, whacking them, and then running forward past them, and also working in the careful dodges. I bounce between close and far. What can I say? I love the scramble, I love running around, and even sometimes I work in a wacky jump in there somewhere. Oh yeah, that's another thing you can do, is jumping. Yeah, that's on triangle. It feels like the jump from Oblivion. It's really floaty and weird, yet it works so strangely well for this game. I mean, I get up on the steps here, clear this dude completely, I'm gone. One time I was running away from this little lizard, and I'm like, I'm gonna just turn around, I can just jump over him. I love how you can jump on top of a piece of furniture like you're scared of a mouse. That will work, like you will be safe if you do that. Won't help you if they spit poison, though. Oh, you don't want to get hit by that. That'll suck the life right out of you. You'll probably get poisoned the most by centipedes. They do the whole Resident Evil 4 snake in a box thing where, you know, you're looking for supplies, so you're smashing stuff open, Oh, and then sometimes there's a big poisonous centipede inside, and you gotta step on it quick or it's gonna bite you and you're poisoned. You can also get poisoned just by using shitty bandages. But it's like, dude, I'm bleeding, I gotta put something on it. It is a lot better to be poisoned than bleeding though, because, well, let's be honest, poison doesn't actually affect you that much. Same for getting rot. I don't even know what rot does. Yeah, bleed really seems to be the only status effect that's a real threat to you, yet it never ever really seemed to happen to me. I think these status effects could be a lot more aggressive, honestly. You also got stamina items, which you can whip out in maybe a harder fight or when there's more commotion going on, just to refill the bar instantly so you can get a free hit out. There's health items as well, of course. Some are better than others. The bandages may betray you, but that sake sure won't. Later on, I actually began to feel like the game is a bit lenient with the sake, and half the time I can't even pick them up because I'm already maxed. Now, they don't ever respawn when you pick them up, so I guess it depends on how often you're dying. You could die a whole bunch and go through them all, and then there's just none. So yeah, I guess how abundant you find them is really gonna boil down to like how often you play games like this, how many times you've played through a survival horror game before. So yeah, personally, it made me wish there was a hard mode option that gave you like a third as many. You'll find all this stuff just by exploring around, poking around every little corner, maybe opening up some drawers and looking in. Yeah, you can find key items too. Maybe you'll find a valve or a series of gems you have to insert into a door to open up a new way. You're carving through the levels, finding keys, solving puzzles, opening shortcuts. Yeah, it's basically that classic Silent Hill, Fatal Frame type level design that I love so much. It can be a bit easy getting lost at first, especially since this game's map doesn't tell you exactly where you are on it. Now be patient with it though, because it's one of those things that's going to feel annoying at first, but then you kind of start to realize it's making the game a whole lot cooler. You know what I mean? Like Siren on PS2 is just like this. I thought the map was stupid for a few levels. I was like, just show me where I am. Why don't you show me where I am? Every other game does. But then I began to realize, wait, I'm actually kind of paying attention to what's around me. I'm remembering landmarks. I'm contextualizing them on a flat plane and using that to get my sense of direction. And I ended up with a much more thoughtful sense of where I was. Before I knew it, I didn't even really need the map all that much. It had me develop such a better sense of direction. This game is like the hallways version of that kind of thing. You always think you're going one way, just open the map and see, well, that's not the room I thought was going to be glowing. But you can quickly contextualize that, right? It's gonna be like, okay, well, I thought there was 2 doors up down here, but okay, I must be on this side of the hallway. Oh, so this must go that way. Okay, so I'm taking a left down to the end there. Okay, you know, there's just a little bit of thought put into it, a little bit more engagement. You're really connected to the map this way, and I think throwing this into the mix of all this stress and survival, right, that really adds to the experience of crawling around this hellscape of confusion and like trying to figure out where to go. I really freaking love that. And hey, if you don't like that, they do meet you halfway. You can just go to the store and buy a compass. It makes reading a map way easier. I mean, all that money you find laying around, you gotta spend it on something. You can also buy new weapons, or maybe you'll find a couple of pieces of a weapon and combine them into something. Some weapons are slash, some are crush. Different enemies are weak to different types of weapons. You can often find a little scroll with a hint about upcoming enemies and what works good on them. Skeletons? Smack them with something heavy. Lizard guys, you can't cut them open, so you gotta stun them, then crush their skulls with your foot. That's some Isaac Clarke malarkey. These floating skulls I was really intimidated by. Like, what is that? What does that do? It glows? It laughs? They're scarier than they look. That's the opposite of what I meant. They're not as scary as they look. They just fire a simple projectile, so just to get in a careful dodge, and then whack them. But they also blow up, so you have to run away. That's so fun. It's great having an enemy that keeps you on the alert like that. It's just so fun getting in and out as fast as you can get this guy to go. They got the little things to make beating a guy feel all the more satisfying. Every now and then, you'll just cleave their head right off. Ranged weapons are also an option. Arrows and munitions are very scarce, but they can really come in handy when used right. The Tanegashima was amazing for boss fights. I love how unwieldy it is, how long it takes to draw, fire, and even reload after every shot. I do think it does way too much damage to bosses though. The arrows too, actually. You already have the benefit of not getting hit. That's the whole point of ranged in horror. You spend ammo to avoid the risk of spending health instead. Ammo shouldn't be this easy mode item that demolishes through their health so fast that, well, now I don't need to do those fun jumpy blows to the head that I was having a great time doing. Ammo should be a thing that helps with a horror boss fight, but like isn't the answer to it. So yeah, if you don't want the boss fights to all feel piss easy, you're probably better off using all that range stuff when you're out and about instead. You can even do some oblivion-ass cheeses by jumping up on something and die. I think that's kind of cheap, but you can't do it in a whole lot of places at least. A few times I had the enemy AI get stuck on like a table. I wasn't even trying to make this happen. Sometimes it just feels like the enemies are stupid. Like, come on, you can't figure out how to get around this? This didn't happen like a lot, but every now and then, yeah, an enemy would just get stuck on something or couldn't figure out how to get to me, and it's just like, okay, all the tensity of this situation's gone now, cool. Most of the time, though, enemies are tough and can overwhelm the crap out of you if you're not careful. Too many enemies stacking up, of course, can very quickly become a massive problem. If you're just skipping a lot of these guys and you're not taking them out as you go, well, you might just get pinched in a hallway and then you're screwed. You can get lucky, though. Like, sometimes they don't even notice you because they're too busy fighting each other. I love when you're walking around, it's like, oh god, I don't have much health left. Oh, there's 2 guys now! Oh. I guess they don't like each other. I don't think any of these guys know what's happening. They're just in stasis. This is something you should try to take advantage of as much as possible. Maybe let it occupy them long enough to lurk on by, or maybe lure them into a congested area to benefit from the friendly fire when you fight them. Now, dying, and by extension saving, works a little different than usual. You still have the classic big red save point. But most of these games, when you die, you go back to when you saved. Here, you just go back to the shrine with full health, but whatever you grabbed or did before dying, that's still done. I kinda hate this. It wrecks the balance. Like, why would I ever spend a healing item when I could just let myself die and heal for free? It's not like the save point's ever more than a minute or 2 walk away. And because I'm not using all the healing items, well, by the time I get to a boss fight, I'm always so loaded that I couldn't possibly lose. I guess on the other hand, I'm sure this will make the game a lot easier to get into for some people. You can make a lot more mistakes this way. And I mean, you can also heal for free at the tea house, so maybe that is the kind of difficulty they had in mind. But it is another thing that just makes me want a hard mode. I want a mode where I actually go back to a save when I die, just like the classics. That way, the game would be even more tense, and the healing items would have a lot more value. I suppose another thing to consider is that the enemies always respawn when you come back. It's not like a lot of old horror games where they only come back when you do a key event or grab a key item. No, they come back every time you return to the room, even if you cleared them all out. Now, at first I was thinking, okay, maybe that balances the health item thing. I could see a player maybe using a lot because of all these encounters, and then they save, and it's like, oh no, I used them all before getting the thing done. But then I realized, no, it doesn't even matter, because you can just reload to before you used all the items. I mean, you can save scum the crap out of this game. Look how many saves I give you. So, no, yeah, I really do think this game just needs that hard mode, man. Well, getting back to the respawning enemies, I do still think this adds something really valuable. It adds, or rather it removes, certainty. Because they always respawn in totally different spots. Say you walk into a room full of guys and they all chase you out. Well, when you walk back through that door, you could very well get luckier. Maybe there's less guys. Maybe there's no guys. Maybe there's even more and you gotta run past them as fast as you can. It really keeps the pace of the game bouncing wonderfully between tense moments and lax moments. And what makes it scary is that since it's always random, you don't know what is a lax moment or a tense moment. Well, that is if you're not in a safe area. There are some areas that don't have any enemies. You got these little hub rooms, these rainy clearings within the castle walls. There's a small central one here that you'll end up at a lot as you unlock more and more shortcuts. It's so cool how big and overwhelming I found this map at first, but pretty quickly it began to feel really tight and all packed together. It can still be a little confusing sometimes, like you might find yourself staring at the map for a long time, and you might even look up where to find an item or two if you can't find a lead. But man, they really do a great job making sure every area stands out on its own. Like, the whole game is a little samey looking, but despite that, every room still manages to feel totally unique. The more and more I wandered around, the less and less I found myself even checking the map. My sense of direction was just growing naturally, so they must be doing something right here. Ooh, the rain and music in these areas are so nice. All the downtime between areas in this game, they really let you enjoy those short moments of peace. The free healing at the tea house, for example, they make you do a whole ceremony, making the tea, stirring it up, and drinking it.
Once you find this tea house, you'll mostly be coming back here between ventures. It really lands smack dab in the middle of all of these folding hallways and shortcuts. This is your Firelink Shrine. All those little freaks you meet along the way even end up here. Many of them will also do something for you, like upgrading a weapon or selling you something. The NPCs are so silly, dude. You got this little cat ninja who sells you stuff. This priest really sounds like he's about to go on to something real important, and he's just like, nah, I forget, whatever. The blacksmith, oh my god, you have to hear this guy's voice. The way these characters talk about everything, they don't have a care in the world. Why is everyone like this? You live in hell. I was expecting, like, ghouls, hellions, you know, like tortured souls experiencing eternal suffering, but no. I got a bunch of turkeys. This is a Labyrinth of the Turkey King. Gobble gobble, down to the pits of hell we go. Have a grand old time. My wife locked me in the pantry because she wanted to eat me. I was real mad about it, but it's kind of funny, so we cool now. No, yeah, that is actually what happens between these two. She wants to eat him, and then he's like, oh, you, wife, love ya. Actually, it'd probably be more like, why does he sound like that? To get the pantry key back from little wifey kitty cat, she wants you to take this statue from a shrine here. The shrine that we just read about, how, you know, doing that summons a gouged eyeball demon that will relentlessly chase us into oblivion. It's like, you want us to do what makes that happen? They weren't joking either, no. This thing's coming. This guy's basically your nemesis, or Mr. X, you know, the invincible chaser guy that makes you run when he shows up. Actually, it reminds me a lot of the ghosts from Silent Hill 4. You know, you're walking around, it's all good, but when you hear that sound, it's like, oh no, oh, he's about to crawl out of the floor. Even the cutscene when you first see him feels like one of those Silent Hill 4 FMVs. All the FMVs in this game are in that gritty style. It's sick looking. Even just being near this guy will inflict you with rot. Though, I'm not gonna lie, I still don't know what rot does. I swear this thing doesn't even really affect you. Like, maybe it drains your health like the poison does, but clearly not enough for me to ever notice. There's items that get rid of rot. I didn't even know that. I didn't use one of these the whole game. But yeah, if you hear this guy, you gotta be on the move. And that can make it difficult to get around enemies now, that you can't exactly stop to fight them as much, but it gets you scrambling. I'm jumping around, I'm taking whatever turns I find, I'm getting away. But in the process, I'm also getting far away from all the things I'm trying to do. But that is just part of the game. You have to accept that sometimes you will have to blindly run and just see where you end up. But that's okay. You can go back. Like I said before, the spawn rate changes around, so you'll get back to it at a point and it'll be slacker then. But for now, just find a spot where you can take a breather, check the map, and oh wait, there's something new here I've been there's like a whole ass puzzle here. Now, don't expect as many puzzles as a lot of old horror games, but there's a handful in here, and they're okay. You got your classic, put the 4 keys in the holes in the right order after you look at a clue. This one here feels directly based on the Hanged Man puzzle in Silent Hill 2, where you have to read a story and infer it as instructions, though it's certainly a lot simpler and easier than the thing it's based on. If you're the kind of person who likes cranking that riddle difficulty up to hard in Silent Hill, well, you're not going to be finding anything like that here. It's way more about the action and survival, so I don't know, if you hate it when horror games make you do puzzles, you might like this a lot. But anyone like me, you might be a bit disappointed there's not much to them. Though I do really like how all the NPCs will talk about the puzzles the same way I talk about puzzles in YouTube videos. It is just self-aware enough, man. Like, it's speaking the language, but it's not rubbing it in your face how much it gets it. No, it all just feels like it was made with love and experience. Like the people making it played a whole lot of different horror games and just pulled little things from all these different corners until they had something fresh, familiar, and wicked sick as hell. The gameplay and exploration are unbelievably fun, and the aesthetics here are some of my all-time favorite in horror games right now, dude. Like, this is it, man. This is why we do this. It's a gnarly culmination of so many things I freaking love in these classic horror games. It is unreal, dude, how madly in love with this game I am. And that's why I've been so critical of this game, because, like, I see something that is almost there. I see something that is almost one of my favorite games of all time. All they gotta do is balance the difficulty a bit, you know? The chaser needs to be more of a threat, enemies could have better pathfinding, ranged weapons do way too much damage to bosses, the parry is kind of OP, rot, and even poison need to actually affect you more, items are way too plentiful, and there's gotta be an actual penalty for dying. I don't know if they'll do that, because I could imagine that being like a lot of hard work, trying to figure all that out and making it not suck. But if they did manage to cobble together some sort of hard mode that balanced the game somewhat like that, I would be so grateful, dude. I would be over the moon. And it looks like I'm not alone either. I found a couple of other people online talking about how they also don't think this game's punishing enough. Now, don't get me wrong, the gameplay is still really challenging, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to find this game plenty hard as it is. There's just a lot of rules I don't like dangling from those challenging mechanics that kinda keep it from being the intense and brutal survival horror experience that people like me who have beaten a ton of these games are always looking for. Oh, but it's so close, man. It is so close to being that everything I want in a brutal and scary horror game. It's just, you just gotta add that hard mode and we're there. Come on, man, add that hard mode. Don't make me beg. Don't make me beg for the hard. Come on, man, the people want it. The people want it. I want it.
I want it bad! Give it to me!
If they do ever add anything like that, I'll be sure to leave a pinned comment so you can figure that out. So yeah, if you're watching this video in the future and you're curious, just check down there. I know they're adding like a new game plus, but as far as I can tell, it just adds new weapons and enemies. I don't know if it's actually going to like crank up the difficulty. Again, check the pinned comment, that'll let you know. Only other thing I'd say is, I wish it was longer. Just one more tower, come on. I love this thing so much, I wish there was a little bit more of it. But it is a good survival horror short length, the kind of game where your first blind playthrough could be, I don't know, maybe from like 5 to 13 hours, depending on how lost you get or how hard a time you have. But if you know what you're doing, you could beat this thing in like 2 hours. But yeah, if you too think this game looks like a big old tasty soup of the good shit, then you are lucky as hell. This game is on everything. I played it all on my Steam Deck and it ran perfectly, but it's also on PS4, PS5, Xbox One and Xbox Series, and Nintendo Switch. Though I think it's only 30 FPS on Switch, but honestly, it kinda adds to the look. I mean, it is still an option in the 60 FPS versions for a reason, but yeah, I don't know. You can decide if that matters to you. It's certainly a horror game for the challenge-loving core horror fans, you know? Like, if you've played a whole bunch of those old horror games, the ones that make you get a little particular with timing and stuff, you'll probably have no problem getting into this thing. Same goes for the FromSoft fans too. Like, this thing is also definitely for the Kingsfield guys. Even if it didn't launch with the difficulty mode that was more my speed, it is still a pretty tough game that I had a lot of fun with. I love that it commits to its ideas, even the ones that not everyone's guaranteed to like. So yeah, I don't really think it's a horror game for all horror fans, but man, it's like the best version of that, you know what I mean? Because they stick to their guns with it. They don't pave over all the cool ideas just because they're worried not everyone's gonna react well to it. Like the Siren map. I've been wanting a new horror game, to have a map like that for so long, but they never do it because they're too scared. They're too cowardly. It's like, man, most people don't like this, so the people that do like it never get to have it, I guess. Nah. This is the real shit. You know, it's a brave game. I appreciate a brave game that'll actually try to figure out what a small handful of people want, and they don't worry about pleasing everyone, because that is the stuff that'll stick with you, the stuff that'll click with you, the absolute most. Thank you for watching the video with the Labyrinth of the Demon King. My name is James. Nitro Rad. That's like every YouTube and Slate, basically. You know, like and subscribe. Yeah, go like something different. Dude, go play Grun. Yo, go play Grun. Like, go on Steam. It's just on Steam. Play Grun.